Okay, welcome back to the stream. If you're watching in the future, welcome to the video. So in the last stream yesterday, I did this pose-to-pose blocking of the Stormtrooper. It's very rough, and I'm going to start moving towards Spline now and try and fix some of these contact poses and just get everything working a bit more nicely. So compared to some animators, I do go to Spline a bit earlier than, I guess, the stereotypical pose-to-pose workflow. For me, I feel like I've got the story down. Like everything is kind of working with the story beats. Like I know where the contact pose is, I know where the timing is roughly, and I know kind of where he's going to go from and where he's going to end up. So at this point, I want to get in and work on the motion of the character. So I ended the last stream working on the hips and the chest, and then as I was starting to do the hands, the Maya crashed. But luckily the autosave worked, so I have the same file open now. So I'm going to work on the hands again. I'm going to start off basically on this pose here. That's where I ended last time. And I'm just going to basically keep going. So if anyone is watching in the future, as in this video, please do comment down below if this was helpful. And let me know what you guys want me to work on in the future. Let me get the chat up 1 second so I can see when people ask questions. Give me 10 seconds. There's the chat. Cool. Cool, there we go. Right, okay, let's keep going. Right, so this pose was the one I was working on, and I think it was, yeah, it was frame... Yeah, I think this might be a bit overstretched, like I said. When I go to, I want to take off the textures, I want to see this a bit more clearly. I'm also going to make the viewport a little bit brighter. And I'm not going to be looking at my reference for this one. I feel like at this point I'm past my reference. Looking at it will just make me more confused, so I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm also going to use the ghost poser, which if you saw from last stream or last video, it's basically making the main character a copy of it and then making it into a transparent shader so I can see it on different frames. So I have to select it through the body. I'm also going to turn off the rig overrides. Object display, rig overrides. Yeah, so I should be able to, yeah, there. Well, I can now select it, there we go, a bit easier. So I'm going to select the body, add that in, and then I'm going to make a pose. Cool. So that's kind of the pose I'm going for. See, I've got a copy of it there. Still work out where this could be. So I do think this is the frame we should contact, right? Let's delete this pose, and let's delete this ghost pose, sorry. Let's work on frame 20. So I'm going to start adding keys in now, kind of a bit more randomly. Because I kind of feel like this is the stage where I want to actually start making real contact poses, real animation, and get everything working together. So I'm moving past blocking now. Okay, let's get this pose working. I feel like the thumb would be... How do I come down would be... like that, right? I guess. It's hard to tell. I always really hate thumbs. They're always the hardest thing to animate for me. Luckily, they're quite far from the camera, so you can't really see it, but just for my peace of mind, do something a bit more realistic. That's clearly broken, but bring this back. Bring this up. Okay. Cool. What I might do actually is... There's a really cool locator trick I could teach you guys. I reckon I might do that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this animation, I'm going to make a locator. So create a locator. I'm going to snap it to basically one of the finger knuckles. So I'm going to use animal for this, but you can use Maya's snap tool, that's fine. Make it visible. So now I've got the knuckle. What I want to do, I want to copy this location in world space, and I want to bake animation to the locator. So I'm going to take the 2 controllers here, and I'm going to set a key on every frame. So if I go to the graph editor, get rid of this now. Just basically set a key at frame 1, go next key, just set, see here at the bottom here, setting keys. Every frame that there's an IK, F key, sorry, every key that there's an IK, start again. Every IK controller that has a key on it, I want to copy that same timing to the locator. Don't worry about the fact it's not moving, we'll do that in a second. So keep all this down like that. Go back to the first frame. Now I want to constrain this to the locator. Sorry. So select the IK controller, then to the locator, and then go to animation tab, constraint like this, and maintain offset, and all this is the same. Add. Cool. And now if you watch, the locator will follow. Cool. Now what I want to do is I want to take this locator. I'm going to bake this down to animation. Let's go. Bake simulation. That's the wrong one. One more time. And I want to go to smart bake. This is all fine. And time slider, and this should all be the same. Apply. Cool. So now this locator should actually be the same as the FK controller. See how it's going through the same location, even though there's no constraints anymore. So I can make sure, just double check, I can delete this constraint. So there's still a constraint here to delete it. This will still have the same animation, you see? The locator is still following. So now what I want to do is constrain it backwards. So what I can do is I can take this locator, then go back to the IK hand, I can constrain it. Checking this works. Good. And make sure I key this. That doesn't really matter to us because we're not going to unkey it. And now this is where I'm going to do my animations. I'm going to animate this IK hand using the locator. The reason I'm doing this because I want to create a nice pose on the ground using the hands. So I can then use this pivot point, which is now well, about here. Yeah, that's about right. I can basically use this as my pivot point. Now I've got to adjust some of the timing, sorry, not timing, the stretching. It's a bit broken, which is good to know. So maybe at frame 21, I can bring this down. No, it's too high. Bring this down. Too much. I think I need to make the hips go lower. Let's look at this controller. How can I make this work? The shoulders are already quite extended, so I think leaving the shoulders is pretty better. I think I have to lower the hips a little bit. Let's go here. If I bring this down, if I bring this down too, maybe bring this one down too. Just trying to get a nice shape. So basically, I want to get the hands not stretching. I want them to be actually on the ground properly. I think this hand's okay now, and not quite frame. So I'm doing the locator, by the way, not the hand. I'm not animating the hand anymore. I'm animating the locator. Don't scale it. Okay. So now I see how I can rotate around the knuckles. So now I get a bit more of a natural pivot point in this position because it's going to be pushing off the knuckles, like the toe roll effect when you're peeling off the ground with your toes. The same thing happens with the fingers. I can always animate these fingers backwards like this to get the same shape I need. I know it sounds like a lot of work for something very small, but it's definitely easier doing it this way than it is to animate the IK hands sort of frame by frame. So I think that's the right timing, right? If you ignore the fingers, that's kind of the right place I'm going to be. About there maybe. Let's key that. I'll do the same for the hand in a second. And now I can take these fingers. I can, not thumb. Yeah, I can rotate them upwards. If they're too much, I can, yeah. See how now I get that shape without really having to do much? And now I can then use this locator. Bring this down like this. And I have to make sure the hip is working. That'll be, let's go to frame 20. Copy the location. So take 21, the location of these three in the locator. 21, go to 24, copy it. So I'm going to middle mouse drag 21 to 24 and key that. So that's the same, right? Then I can rotate this backwards down and like this. And if I make sure that I fix the hips as well, so this is going to have a bit of a push pose. I will have to fix this arc as well. Oh, wrong one. Wrong frame. I'm gonna just work out. These bits are always hard to explain because I'm kind of going frame by frame, making sure that the poses actually are in the right location. Okay, about there. Maybe delete that one. Make it a bit more stretched though. I need to fix this elbow. This is definitely the hardest part of the shot. It's about right? It's probably too much of a pop though. I guess that pose isn't too bad. Okay. Let's key at frame 22. I might delete frame 21 so I get a bit more of an ease in. Okay, and then at frame 24 I want this to be flat. So I want the palms of the hands, or the base of the hand, to be on the ground. So rotate this down like that. Move it up in space a little bit, like there. Cool. Maybe I'll take all this TY and copy it. So that's the TY for this frame. To take these 2 frames, I'm going to take this value of 5.235. I'm just going to copy and paste it to these 2. There we go. So that was quite a long way of doing this thing, but now what I have is basically this one pivot point that I can then just basically use as a rotation point around the whole of the backflip. So then I can copy this as well. Well, actually, sort it off the ground. Maybe it's... Let's track this a little bit more. And use motion trails for this. Show. Motion trail. Let's have that. Let's put more in. This is more down. It's a bit of a nicer arc. Okay. That works. Let's fix these fingers now. So rotate these fingers back down using the knuckles. Like that. Cool. Okay, just so you guys understand what I've done now, just to re-explain one more time. In case you just joined. So I took the animation from the IK hand. I then basically baked it onto the locator, so this animation here. I then took the locator and I made the IK hand follow the locator with a constraint. So the IK hand follows this locator. And because the locator is set in the knuckle, the hand now pivots around the knuckles, which means while it's on the ground, it acts like the balls of the feet. So I can actually pivot around those balls of all the knuckles. So I can keep the location of the hand consistent, and I can roll over that point. Otherwise, I would have to go frame by frame and counter animate every single translation as it leaves the ground, which is a lot of work. So while it looks messy right now, once I fix these fingers, which is a lot easier to fix than IK hands, it will actually help me animate the whole thing a bit better. That's my plan. It's quite hot and clear, but the aircon is making me cough. And my remote's broken. There we go. If that doesn't make sense, what I just did, then do ask a question and I'll try and explain what I did again. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Right, let's fix the fingers and I'll be a bit cleaner. Okay. Okay, so I still need to, I think, I need to also check the spacing of this point here as well. So that's fine. I'm checking the spacing of, I guess, the thumb I might check the spacing of the thumb. So I'm going to put a motion channel on the thumb because it's near the back of the hand. I want to see, because like the foot, when it hits the ground, the biggest spacing is the last frame before the ground. The same thing's going to happen to the hand here because it's going to touch the ground. It's going to fall on the ground, basically. It's falling. So it's going to have a big impact spacing frame. But this frame is actually in the wrong location. This frame should be back here, I think. And this frame can be... yeah. Okay. Cool. Delete this one. So I've got frame 22, frame 19, frame 20, frame 21. So this spacing is wrong here, I think. I think this could be bigger, like that. And this could be actually higher off the ground. So that goes 1, 2, 3. I need to have at least one more frame on the ground. So I'm going to copy this pose exactly, I think, and I'm going to just take 24 and make it the same. And I'm going to put this one as well, 24, 25, basically the same. Okay, it's getting there. I've got to fix the spacing here on the wrist. Okay, I think maybe I can rotate this a little bit. The rotation is the issue, isn't it? Let's go to rotations. So it's the rotation. This one here. It's the Z. Sorry, X. I can also rotate this way as well. That. Tweak that one. Tweak that one. It's about right, isn't it? It's definitely a frame by frame section, this bit. Obviously it's not bouncing properly yet, but I'll fix that in a second. Okay, so I think, okay, frame 27, of course, the fingers are dragging completely. So let's key this. This now comes off the ground and it rotates back down this way. I want the fingers to kind of... let's do the ghost posing again and let's find out where that poses. So I'm going to select the body, add this in, make a pose. And make a pose at frame 24. I'm going to go to frame 27 just to start off with, see where it's coming from. I think that's about right. Rotate it so the fingers are going to kind of drag backwards a bit as well. So bring this down. You can actually maybe go straighter, I think. I think the finger could still be touching the ground. So it basically overextends. Right now it hasn't. Yeah, but that straight arm feels nice. Let's go and fix the fingers again. Get rid of the motion trail. So the fingers, they're going to kind of follow the path up. So these can be rotated towards the tips. So basically this way. These ones too. This top one. Oh, don't select geometry. There we go. Okay. That one will kind of be dragging off the ground, so that one can be a bit more sort of vertical because it's already kind of left the ground. Yeah, delete this ghost pose for a second. So that's that pose. And then what I need to have is, let's delete this one for a second, bring this up. So the spacing is going to be like this. But I think that the translation is going to be the same. So I'm going to copy the previous place for translations, but rotate this like this. See what I meant by the rotation? I can rotate the wrist like the heel using the locator, and I can then just reanimate, or sort of counter animate these fingers backwards. So that's where they're coming from. So that's good. That's where they are now. So here. Let's rotate these backwards. It's basically the same position. Just making sure that everything is completely matching. It's these kind of little slightly different poses on the next frame that will cause the popping and jankiness in the animation. And it's going to be harder to do if I wasn't using the locator, but even with the locator, I've still got to make sure it doesn't like pop. With all the pressures on the fingers, so they're going to be pretty sort of stationary and still. Okay, let's try the animation now. Okay, that's a bit better. There's definitely issues in the shoulders and then the elbow. I think the hands themselves are a bit better now. I think so. Let's just go to one big frame. So let's make it so I can see, because that's black. There we go. So the fingers need some work still on that frame, but okay, let's go frame 23 and fix the fingers there. I think I've fixed that pose. That will be a bit nicer. So let's go back to 2 frames side by side. So it's frame 23. Let's go and oh yeah, the ghost poser is just godsend. I mean, you don't need to. This is a plugin. I think it's free. I mean, you can actually just select the geometry and then copy and paste it, and then apply like a unparent it from rig, and then you have the same effect. But this is just one button. It's just such a good plugin. I think I'll link it down in the chat. Why not? There's so many different versions of it though, so it's not like one person. What's it called? Here we go. I'll link it here, and I'll put it in the chat when I do upload it to YouTube, so it'll be in the chat box down below, I guess. Also, Tay, is that the same Tay from, well, lots of places I've seen you, I think. Instagram, LinkedIn. No problem. I thought so. Yeah, I see your work quite a lot. Then I think you posted something yesterday. You had some credit for something. Was it? It was some sort of game. I can't remember what it was now. What did he just get a credit on? There was something. I saw that and was quite sort of jealous / impressed. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, well done. I've still yet to have like a childhood dream type credit yet. My credits are all kind of still kids TV shows and stuff, which I'm happy to do. They're fun to work on, but I can't say like a lifelong dream to work on like I mean, I work on in a Korean TV show, so like even the language I speak is like different from the TV show, so I can't quite relate to much of it, but it's still fun to do. Just hopefully one day, well, next year hopefully I'm looking to move. I'll look for something a bit more, you know, I guess popular. That's okay. Set a key there. Put this down. Bring this up. Bring it up too. And I'm also going to turn on the textures, because if you turn on textures, it becomes like a translucent shader. It's a bit easier to see. So make this spread. Yeah, I remember, yeah. That's why I recognized your name. You weren't ever in my class though, but I think you're in. Were you above or below me? I remember. No, I just remember your work being good. Maybe the thumb I could leave. The thumb's barely seen. I can leave that probably. Well, I think that is. That hand's done now, I think. Let's work on this elbow pop, because of course I do need to have the elbow take the weight. I go back to the hips now. So I spent a long time on that hand, I know. I will do the other hand first, but I want to kind of just quickly do the hips again, because there is going to be a slight dip. Okay. Okay. I think maybe the shoulders are what I need to work on next. I think the hips are pretty good. I don't want to move the hips too much because they kind of are working. And the more I change the hips, the weaker it's going to feel as a jump. Okay, let's just work on the shoulders a bit. So there's no bend bones, is there, for this rig? There's the follow. That's good. Okay, at least it's a stretchy one. Okay, so let's try and make this. This pose is a nice stretch. Let's make this one a bit more of a. I might actually stretch the torso in object space just a tiny bit to get that slight bend. And then that's going to take the weight. That's going to be the biggest pose. I'll delete this key. And then the shoulder is being strange. Let's delete that one for a second. There we go. Let's do a shoulder pass quickly on this left arm. I think the shoulders are pretty. Okay, so the shoulder's gonna be rotated this way. Oh, that's wrong. It's gonna be up like this. And it's gonna be down. Just trying to find the extremes of each pose. And this arm's still completely broken. It's a bit distracting actually. Let's go back to this off texture mode. I prefer just seeing it in Lambert. Let's rotate this up. I don't want to do translations though, because I kind of feel like it's not going to be nice with translations. And I'll fix this arm in a second. Bring this up. Okay. Still looking at the shoulder. My method of animating, to be honest, is just what looks the worst, fix that, and then do that on repeat. That's how I do it. After I get past the blocking stage, I've got the story down. I'm just going to go through my shot, work out what's not working, what's the biggest issue, and fix that, and then go to the next biggest issue, and like that cycle. So right now I feel like the shoulders in this arm needs to be fixed first, because this is going to be dictating a lot of how the hips move and the body moves. So basically, in this sense, this is the foot, right? I need to get the contact pose working properly, and then I can actually focus on the rest of the shot. Yeah. It's a bit broken here, but I think for now that's okay. Let's look at the elbow again. Yeah, okay. I think the elbow, while there's still some pops, I think for this part of it, it's no longer the biggest issue, so let's leave that for now. That shoulder is actually flipping. That's an issue, though. That is a big issue. There's some Euler issues here. Do a Euler filter on this. Does that help it? No, not yet. I always hate doing shoulders on most rigs, especially with armor or like clothes. It always breaks the jump shit a lot. Okay. Yeah, this can be straighter. We go to 15. Fix this rotation. So I think the hands are like so important to the shot. I need to get them fixed quite soon. I want to try and get a nice silhouette, so I'm going to try and keep it on the white, so the black and white. I'm kind of making it easy to read. Bring this in. That. I'm still animating on the locator, by the way. I think this whole shot is going to be on the locator. There we go. I think 25 actually should be 26. Because it's gonna... That peel off too big. See, it's flat, 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 and then pop up. I think actually I can take this whole bit here. So, just take everything here. Take away that, take away that. Key that. I'm going to copy that to frame 26 and keep it there. And then I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to make it go towards the frame before with Tween Machine. Because of course it's going to be a... Yeah. A slight pop there in the fingers, but I think overall it's a lot better. And that's the pop of frame 20. Bring that across the space. Zoom in on the... Yeah. And then that's fine. Frame 26. I'll rotate that down a bit more. So it's going to be from, I'm looking at the back of the wrist here. So I'm looking here. Yeah, that spacing feels nicer now. But actually, that could be bigger. There you go. Yeah, okay. I think that's right. That's the right timing. But the spacing can be fixed later. Okay, let's just work on something else now. Okay, let's look at the... Let's look at all of the legs. Actually, should I just do the other wrist now? Yeah, do the other wrist now. Makes more sense. Okay, so let's do the same trick. I'm going to go to frame 1. I'm going to take this location with the IK wrist. And I'm going to basically bake this onto a locator. So make a locator. I'm going to snap it to this position. Oh, where is it going? Bigger, and I want it to go to the knuckles, right? So let's go into object, No, so let's snap it to this one here. There's this IK. So the FK finger. There we go. Kind of rotate so it does kind of follow the rotation of the wrist. You see how I've kind of got it lined up with the wrist? Just a bit easier. Okay, cool. And then let's constrain this to the IK hand. So let's make the IK hand the parent and constrain it. So now the locator will follow the hand. And then I want to key this on every frame that has a key for IK as well. So you go to frame 0, next key. See how it's keying on both? So key all the frames. Again, there's plugins for this, but whatever. And maybe also last frame as well. Cool. And then I want to go back to frame 1. I'm going to set this as a parent. Yep. And I can then also make sure it's parenting on every frame, not just one frame. And then I can bake this onto the locator. So bake simulation, smart bake. Yep, bake it. Cool. And then I can delete the constraint. And now you see, as I said before, the animation kind of follows, the IK is going along. And then flip it backwards. So now the IK locator is now controlling the hand. So now the locator moves and the hat follows. And the pivot point is now at the knuckle. Right, what I wanted. So for now, I'll leave it the same. But maybe this needs to be changed. This frame 12 pose needs to be changed a lot. It didn't bake properly for this pose. That's fine. About there. I'll fix that in a second properly. Let's go back to this pose here. Okay, so that's have the contact pose again about frame 20, I think. Yeah. Okay, so let's rotate this in space. Cool. I'm gonna bring it forward a bit. Yeah, about there. Right? Is that about right? Feels about right. Yeah, about there. Okay. Set a key. And maybe set a key there. Go to frame 20. Set a key as well. Delete frame 21. Yeah, that's about right. I'm gonna bring it a bit lower down so it's touching. Yeah, it's about right. And then frame 24, I'm going to copy that same pose. And then frame 27, I think kind of already is in the right position. Okay, that's roughly okay. It's going to be a bit wider. Let's track this arc. Okay, that's not right. Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the arc of the wrist to make sure it goes down a nice path. So that's 2 cross springs over here. You can't see this hand, but it's still important to get the arc right. This is obviously an important pose. Yep. That's nice. You can just see the hands quite nice. Go slightly nice to do. I want to get this hand out. There we go. I think frame 17, I want to get the hand visible as well. Even if the spacing is kind of broken for one frame, just having the hand out means that you can read it a bit more clearly when it hits the ground. So that's fine. Okay. I think that's about right. Water, sorry. Keep coughing. Let's fix the fingers a bit more now. So 20. I think that can be a bit more. This pose can also be a bit more. I want it to be a bit less like it's kind of back on itself. It's going to kind of fall down a bit more. Like it is going to fall down towards the ground, but it's still going to at least kind of sort of move forward in space. I don't want it to just feel like it's kind of like a loop back on itself, which is what I was doing before. Hopefully this is a useful kind of video for people watching. I know it's only a few viewers, but it's kind of, this is how I go through my animation at work, how I think about things. I'm not the best animator in the world, but you know, I do have a job, so hopefully I have somewhat of a bit of knowledge I can try and show people. Okay, so let's make a nice pose here. Okay, set a key there. I'm actually gonna make a selection set, so that's his left hand, right? Yeah, left hand. Left hand. So the fingers are in that section. So let's rotate this backwards on itself. I'm going to deselect the top. Do it again. And then deselect these ones. These ones, this one, and this one. It's these two. Add these in. And a little bit more here. Cool. That's about right. Cool. So that's the pose, and then let's make a pose ghoster for this pose. That's where the fingers are starting from, and then where are they going to end up? So they're going to end up with it there. So I think this actually can be brought forward in space. That's why it's being a bit strange. Let's go to world space, bring this forward. Like that. Yeah. Maybe it's a bit too much. Not there, yeah. Cool. And I'm going to rotate this down. And bring it to the side as well. So that's fine. Cool. Let's make a finger pose. Let's spread them out slightly because they're going to take more weight, so they're going to spread out slightly. Bring this up out of the ground. That's about right. Fix this thumb. Probably fine for now. Cool. Next thing is I need to fix the other frame. This is frame 24. So that's 20. Let's delete from 21. Let's make it go towards. I'm going to use Play Machine here. Just bring it a bit more towards. No, maybe not. So backwards even. There you go. That's frame. Let's make a ghost pose here as well. So now that's the frame 22 pose. So I think it's already kind of okay. Let's fix this slightly. Bring this out. Let it line up a little bit more. It's so useful, this plugin, Pose Ghoster. If you don't use it, you should use it. I mean, you can do this native Maya, and you can do it by eye as well if you're worried about your animation. But bring it back. I think that's now going to start to peel off a tiny bit. So bring this up in space, and then rotate this down. So the wrist is slowly rotating off now. Like that. And then I'm going to rotate the fingers back. I'm sorry, the finger, not there. Okay, the fingers. There we go. There we go. There we go. And the last one. Oh, come on. There we go. Cool. So now, let's get rid of that on. Okay, apart from the elbow pops, I think the hands are pretty good. Let's make it a bit fast. Delete all my extra plugins. Hopefully that plays back well on the stream. Okay, that is the issue. This straight arm pop. Let's fix this now. I think that will make it be easier to read. So what's happening here? Can I just lift this up slightly? Yeah. Bring it down, rotate it back down. Perhaps I've got a bit too much. Maybe I might delete the rotation this frame. I think yeah, there's a pop here. That's why I think that's the issue. I do also have an issue with the gimbal lock here. Can I actually fix it? I have another plugin which fixes gimbal lock. Which all this plugin does, by the way, I show you here, is it just changes the rotation order, which you can do naturally yourself. If you bake the animation the same way I baked it to the locator for the IK hand, you make a new locator. You can then bake that animation to the second locator. You go to the first locator, go to the attribute editor, and you can change the locator one. You can change the rotation order here, and then you bake the animation back onto the locator after you change the rotation order. But this plugin does it for me. It doesn't always work, but if I click the locator, get tips of selection, and it's just to change to this one, which X, Y, Z. And it goes to X, Z, Y. It changes now. And it should now be a bit easier to... There we go. See, it's a bit easier. And the animation should still be the same. It's a one tiny pop there. I might just delete this key. See what happens. I think it's okay. Yeah, okay, there's still some pops, but that's more a apology thing now. But I think it's more the textures, not so much the animation. Okay. Those fingers need to be fixed. Yeah, there's sometimes an issue when you do change the location. The rotation is slightly off now. But I'll fix it a little bit. Just like that. But I think the elbows look better. But the elbows feel a lot nicer. Okay, let's do something else, because that wrist is actually basically done. For the spline pass, at least. Let's focus on the legs. This whole stream basically just did the hands so far. But that's fine, they were the hardest part. So it's fine that we did them first. Okay, let's work on these feet. So, let's go 1 foot at a time. Let's do the left foot first. So what I can do is I can maybe add a little bit of a roll here. And yeah, okay, cool. I mean, I think these feet are kind of not too bad. I mean, that could be a bit lower down, I guess. The issue here is the knees, not so much the feet. Just put a locator onto the foot. Okay. And the arc is a bit meh. So let's make this straighter. It's up. Bring this out as well. It's out. A little bit of a bend. And I want to make sure that the spacing of the feet is kind of biggest here. That's what's going. So if I key this here, I want to just get a nice and then. that. I'm just working on the arc here. That's what I'm doing. Doing it both in the viewport. Because the spline of the feet is pretty simple. As you can see here, it's very simple. So rather just make sure it's good in the viewport than actually splining it. Because at the end of the day, no one looks at your graph editor. They're just looking at the curves. So at the animation. And this moving hold, I said I'm going to do this at the end. That's the locator north. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then this, of course, needs to be. It's the ground. It can't be like this. That's wrong. So that 0. Cool. Make sure actually it is 0. So I'm gonna lock down. That's good. That's good. And make sure these are the same. This is the issue. Delete that. I'm gonna copy frame 32 to frame 37 and delete frame 34. Cool. Yeah, okay, I think that's kind of okay. I mean, I don't think I need to do too much more to that foot. Okay, let's go to the other foot now. So I'm going to work on this one. So I want this to leave the ground a tiny bit earlier. So at frame 15, I'm going to actually take 14 and move to 15. Just one frame difference. Maybe in frame 16 as well, so still on the ground. Then this roll, I can work on it in the graph editor, bring it down a bit. And then I think of this frame, you know, slightly. I want that bend still. I don't want it to be like stretched like this. That's wrong. It's a tiny bit of a bend. Let's check. Cool. So I want this to drag at first, just for this variety. And then it's going to fling over and maybe land first. So it's not going to be the perfect backflip, or whatever it's called, a back spring. So it's going to drag a bit more, just for a nicer silhouette. It's going to be here hanging, and catching up a little bit. And come down. This may be weird. If it looks wrong, I'm going to put it back to what it was. At frame 29, I think it should be actually touching the ground. So that's the pose. Let's put a ghost pose there. So I want to basically be on the ground. Oh, that doesn't work for that one. Let's change the geometry of this. So I want to have the feet and the body together. Add it in. Make that a ghost pose. Cool. Make this a bit more visible. So that's where it's going. So let's put this here. Like that. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be accurate. Delete frame 30 because that's in the way now. And I'm actually going to copy frame 31 to frame 30 because of this toe roll, right? I'm just going to increase the toe roll. So this is frame 30, just bring that up. Make this softer. So that's actually that gets to be 0 here. Make that 0. And of course this is also going to be 0. Okay, let's just look at that now, see if that looks nicer. It may be strange having the foot that leaves first also land first. Maybe it's okay. Let's do a quick play blast. I think my PC, because I'm streaming, the FPS is slightly slower. Let's quickly play Blast. And I'll see if anything looks weird. Oh, I think I've got the 2D pan zoom on. Yes, it's from the Agora website. I'm not sure if they made it themselves or if they downloaded it from a different different rigger. It's a really, really simple rig, which means it's pretty good to use for beginners. So I did cut off my head, but it's okay. Okay, if you're watching for the first time, ignore the ending. The ending isn't finished at all. I think that actually looks okay with that hand, that thing, I really can't talk. With the foot leaving slightly later, like that slight offset, looks nice. And then, but then the hand blocks it. This pose here is not good. See this pose? It's completely blocked. I might try and make the wider stance. Let's try something. Let's just bring, so that's that pose. Let's bring this out in translation ZMX. Yeah, the rig, if I should link it in the description below, by the way. It should be in the stream description. It should be down there, the link. If it's not, let me know and I'll link it for you. Okay, let's go to this curve here. Select these. That looks strange, right? If you don't, it pops in. That's not good either. Awesome, yeah. There's also a Blender version as well. I haven't tried that one, but that could be a weight shift. That's been nice. Yeah, beforehand, if you see here, this silhouette here, if the hand was blocking this shape, was blocking the behind shape of this one, which is really bad. But there's a bad shape, so I wanted to try and make it separate so it can land it here. So what I'll do is transfer from Blender to Maya. Well, I've used both, and yeah, I understand. I mean, if you're already a good animator, then I think you'll find it quite quick. I think animation is easier in Maya. Sorry. Yeah, so basically Maya is quite streamlined with the animation tools, and this plugin at the bottom, Animbot, it makes it even easier to use Maya. The hardest part of animation is animation itself. If you can already animate, I think you could get pretty good at Maya within a couple of weeks. The only differences are constraints. That's the biggest difference between Blender and Maya, are constraints. And I'm not good at Maya. Sorry, I'm not good at Blender animation, to be fair. So I can't comment on how to animate well with Blender. But having used that a little bit, the only thing was the constraint system. And the 3D cursor in Blender doesn't exist in Maya. So you have to work out how to use locators or empties to get around that. But that's the only real difference. If you can animate already, then you won't find it too much of an issue. Okay. Cool. Okay, I think now, like I said earlier, my animation method is look for the biggest problem, fix that first. Now the biggest issue is actually the ending. It's kind of getting a bit annoying now. So let's work out how to fix this. So as I'm landing on think that could be a bit more rolled. So that's not a nice pose now. Okay, what I need to do, I want this to basically, because I'm landing on this foot, as in this foot, the hips are going to kind of transfer across. So this is going to look like this. Maybe I can fix that rotation a little bit. I'll work on the arms later. And then it's going to come across again to the other side. So that's about right. Maybe it's a bit too much there. And this pose is going to come down even more. Because in a way, basically, the weight's been taken by this foot. And it's still going to come across to about frame 40. It's still going to be going across this way. It's going to be taking the weight. Delete that key. And then about frame 40, I can just have a little lift. And then I think even more come across. I'm basically doing a weight shift, can't I? So this pose even more. Bring it down just to get a nicer pose. I'm just looking at the torso, by the way. I'm not looking at the arms yet. Because the arms... Okay, and as it comes across this way, I mean, that's too far. You rotate it backwards, like that. So this pose is going to be coming this way. It's going to kind of counter that movement. Too much. And maybe, normally when you do a little side step, you then also, I did say 50 frames was my limit, not 60. So that was my rule for this assignment when I first started. So that makes it a bit easier. Okay. Okay. Cool. So now I've got the idea of the weight shifting. I'm going to actually work on the upper FK controllers now. So I think this could still be, what's this doing? No, that's out. This is too slow. I think what I need to do is delete a key. Do I have like empty keyframe? Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a script. If you're still watching with it, Shadrock, good thing to learn about is basically how to use a script editor in Maya, which is this thing. Basically, you can take any command and make it into a hotkey, which I think is the same with Blender, but they use Python. And they use Python for Maya too, but you can also just use mel buttons. So basically, I've taken one of the stuff, and it's pretty easy to make a button. Well, thanks for watching, Death Time. I love your name, by the way. Great name. Thank you for joining. Yeah, that was the blocking pass. I'm now doing my splining pass. I'm working on the ending now. I spent quite a long time doing the hands at the start of this shot, so I'm not gonna probably tonight. I've been doing it for an hour so far. I can probably stream for about another half an hour to 45 minutes. So I probably won't finish this tonight, at least with the polish pass. But I should get pretty close. I will try to finish. Okay, so what I was saying, yeah, this needs to be quicker. So I might take, I've got a minus button here. I'm going to take all this animation, minus 1 frame. So basically gets it quicker. Go to frame 37, do the same. So now this whole thing here is 2 frames faster. Cool. Let's work on the overshoots now. So it needs to have some overshoots. That's the main aspect of this. Let's work on the rotation. X. So there's no overshoot here, which is why it seems really flat. So I might have this dragging more, and then bring this up. Yeah, I mean, I say must have. I mean, plugins and scripts are obviously different, but I mean, in terms of plugins, I only have one, which is Animbot. Well, I guess you could count Studio Library, which is this one. This is just the same as the Pose library in Blender. So I have my own animation I've made, and I've just added poses. And then at the top is mostly just this is a picker. This is a plugin. Well, this is another script, but I've just downloaded them and I've just imported them, and I use them often, but not like all the time. But they're not things that you can't. You don't need to know scripting or Python to do Maya. You just need to know that it uses Python and Maya. So learning how to like import the scripts and like turn on the scripts is all you need to know. I can't write code. Okay. Okay. Right, let's just keep working on this cog. So I need to get the rotations in here. This is completely screwed. So let's take off the mesh control for a second, just about eye. Get a little less broken. So where's this first pop? Let's find this first pop. So I am fixing the cog, but I want to make sure everything else is not completely screwed up. Let's put a mesh drop back on the neck so I can see where the pop is. So it's coming up here, like this. Okay, so the body is kind of dragging. Like that. I think this, because it's pushing onto the right leg, or the screen right leg, this is landing here. It's going to rotate a little this way. And then as it comes up, because it's now going to be going onto this foot, it needs to rotate this way back over itself. So at frame 37, let's just do this pose. And delete frame 36. And also frame... Yeah, I think that's about right. And frame 34, have it the other way. There we go, a bit better. So basically I'm just trying to copy the location of the hips and basically do the opposite action. So as the hips are going on this frame, you see they're going towards screen left, the hips. I want to rotate the FK chain the other way. And the same thing here, which is a bit difficult to see because of the angle. But you see how basically, as it goes across left, it goes this way. And then as the hips go back to the other side, I'm then rotating it the other way. It's a bit fast with the offset, but I guess you could. Yeah. And I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all the molecules. And let's also get the head involved now. So I think having this still down a bit. Like that. I don't need the trail for this. I think keeping this down still. Have that nice C action. And put a key here at frame 40. And just have it also do the same thing. Where's my songs? Choose a different song. My PC's getting a bit slow. I think probably because of the stream. Okay. Yeah, I think having it go up is weird. I think keeping it looking down is better. So I am looking at the graph editor as well. But I am focused mostly on the viewport. Okay. Let's just copy that frame 44 to 50. Keep it the same. I'm going to delete this key. Move this key up. Bring this key down. Just have a slight ease in. Yeah, there's definitely. I think maybe I did take away too many frames. Yeah, okay. I'm actually going to add a key back in. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. There we go. I'm going to take the whole rig. I'm going to add a key back in. So I think it was... Yeah, it's here. I think I want to take frame 38. I want to put a frame between 37 and 38. So I'm going to take frame 38, press the plus button, and I'm going to add a key in. But this button, if you're just watching for the first time, all I'm doing is going right click, keys, add in between, or remove in between. That's all I'm doing. And I've made a button at the top for the same action. So it's not like a script I've downloaded, it's just a Maya button. There you go. I think that extra frame does help a lot. Okay, but I do need to have some backwards overshoot, which is the rotation. Yeah, this one. So let's go to the side and you can see this motion choice. Yeah, it has basically no backwards overshoot. So the amount you do the overshoot is kind of down to you. But this is the bottom curve, the bottom spline, and this is the top one. So I'm gonna have this one kind of dragging. Delete these two. Not the whole key. Delete this frame because it's kind of doing nothing for me. I want the chest to continue up because it's going to be dragging. Bring this down a little bit more. And then I want the bottom spine to kind of come down a bit quicker. So it's going to be offset, right? So I'm going to make my offset using the curves, but I'm going to do it by hand, just for the control. Put this through in the frame. Make this the alt key. Just so it's a bit smoother. Let's see how this looks. It might be weird because I haven't checked it. So let's play blast this one more time. Oh, no. Let's play blast this one time. See how this looks. Hopefully you guys can see what's happening with the frame rate, because I know it's a little bit slow. Play this one time, just to see the frame rate properly. Okay. I think the settle's okay, but it's this section here, from about frame 35 to frame 41, is too fast, or something's moving weirdly. So I'm going to put a tracker on the hips. I think it might be the translation X. I think I can see it already. It's very, very steep. So let's go to side by side again. Yeah. It's because you can see here, it's going boom across too fast. So I think I want to keep this more. So let's bring this one up this way. We'll start. Make it a bit smoother. And I think this pose, we can keep it across longer because the weight's still been taken by, I guess, both feet, and I haven't quite initiated the footstep yet. So I think this actually could be about frame 40. And that can be there. Bring it down. It might be too much still, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, now the TY. I haven't done much to the TY. Yeah, this is too sharp. Let's bring this down more. Might actually put the base there. Bring this up. it steps down, this is going to be like an up pose. Sorry, no, yeah, an up pose. And then as it lands, it's going to kind of take the weight down. Not that much, they're very, very subtle. Because as a foot comes across like a passing pose in a walk cycle, it's going to obviously go up in space. So the hips going to tense and take the weight, so it's going to go up a little bit. Okay, it's a very stylized settle. Okay. Let's do one more play boss. I can't quite see it at this frame rate because my PC is too slow. I'm gonna do one more play blast. And if this is looking okay at this stage, I might move on to the arms. And if the arms look okay, I mean, it's not a great animation, but at least it's the workflow. I think actually the chest can drag more. I think that will help. I think the hips are better though. So here I think the whole of the upper body can actually drag more. So if I go to, is it rotate? Yeah, this one. Move down a bit. So I think this is okay. It's the FK chain. Yeah, I think this is a bit too quick. No, is it? Yeah, that's why. Delete this. What's that doing? I think that's doing nothing for me. I might leave that. I think this one too. Let's take this whole thing. I might scale up slightly. Scaling that whole curve. Yeah, that's too much. Let's get down again. Maybe the head can lead. That might be making more sense. Some things just was off with that, like peeling up. I think it's a spacing issue. What's this doing here? What's this doing here as well? Sometimes splining. I mean, I guess everyone's different. I wonder if you guys prefer splining or blocking. Because some people love the block. They get the whole story of their shot done. There's no like splining problems, and they can like, just animate for fun. And then also I like splining personally because I feel like I'm working on the motion of the shot and it makes more sense to me. I think actually I can have a really tiny footstep here. So as this foot lands, frame 40, just move this out just a tiny bit that way. Basically a nothing step, like a very small adjustment step. So frame 40, just be the same. So I want frame 40 to be the same there. And then frame 50 can be the same as 47. Need that, have it tiny bit up there. Drag that down. Yeah, there you go. Tiny bit of it, just a very tiny step. I think that makes more sense. I think actually the arms are what's causing my issues here. I think they're too floppy. Let's work on this now. So the arms, I think the push off, it's not perfect with the fingers. I haven't got a straight arm. I need a straight arm. I think what I can do for this is I can cheat by making this. can bring the shoulders. I want just before it's actually popping. I'll bring this down in space. I want a strong arm, but I don't want it to be actually breaking the geometry. Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's go back to this screen left arm and get the spacing correct. So bring this in. Oh, that's not what I want. A bit nicer. Cool. And the same thing applies to the arms. That also applies to the FK chest. How it kind of like drags and follows along. So this needs to kind of just follow what the hips are doing, but kind of drag. So it's going to come in here, bring this down. This is where FK is really good. As well, also, if you saw, there's a video which I did post in the last stream I did. But you can set your. Actually, this doesn't have, does it? Oh, it does have it. But you can set this back to a local space, and you can animate for free with the curves that just follows the chest automatically. But for this shot, it's too late and wouldn't really work because of the backflip touching the ground. So I'm going to do it by hand. So it's going to come in, and then here it's going to come out like a loop, right? I think it's too big though. Yeah. Bring this down. That one. So I want that kind of bigger rate. That's still not that nice an arc. I want to. This is too straight here. So I think bring this up in space a little bit. Bring this down in space a little bit. And as I think what I might do, I might do a quick stream tomorrow for the polishing, because I think this has a lot of polish left to do with the fingers and stuff. So I'm going to get the splining of the body done today. And tomorrow, at the same time tomorrow, guys, I'm not going to finish yet. I'm going to do 10 more minutes. But at the same time tomorrow, I will do the splining of the fingers and like anything else I think could be polished. Cool. I think that hand makes more sense now.
I'll take you home.
It's kind of dragging up, and then it's going to go over the top and then swing back into the body. Yep. Let's do the same thing for the other arm, something similar. But if there's any hotkeys or buttons I'm using which doesn't make sense to you, because I have got a lot of hotkeys I use, then please do ask me. Or if you're watching in the future, just leave a comment down below and I will definitely reply. I'm still at the stage of my YouTube career where I reply to every single message and every single question. So please do ask away. Drag more. So the difference is this is kind of the opposite. Because it's on the other side of the body, it's going to do a bit more different things. It's going to drag a bit further because it's going to be like coming away from the body. So the hips are going this way, so it's going to drag behind it. And then as it comes in, maybe here, and bring it across a bit more. I can even rotate this in slightly just to get a bit of like fake finger animation. So you see how that settle? It kind of works. I think that makes sense. Let's look at this a bit more. Oh, no, wrong button. Okay. Look at this now. Okay, well, it definitely has some settle. Whether it's too much and too cartoony, I don't know. But I guess for the workflow demo I'm doing, it kind of makes sense. Let's play by step one more time, just to get the frame rate correct. Alright, cheers, man. Yeah, this was a very spontaneous, like random stream. Well, starting from yesterday. I'm just trying to just do. I don't actually work like this at the office. At the office, I work very differently. But I do want to practice doing step key. I guess for a basic beginner exercise, which is about, I guess if you take out the talking time for the stream, it's about 2 hours worth of animation. It's fine. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I've got 15 minutes left, I guess. Let's just do a quick finger pass, and I might actually call it done. Oh, thanks, man. I am definitely going to continue. Don't worry. I have a few things planned. Actually, I've got quite a lot planned. I have to fit this around my day job, which is, well, I'm also an animator, obviously. So I animate all day, come home, have dinner with my wife and daughter, and then animate more on stream. But I have got a lot of things planned. Mostly creature stuff, and like, I like animating creatures. But, yeah. Okay, let's do a quick finger pass. I might actually just use the curl controllers. This has a curl thing, right? Yeah, okay. I'm going to use the curl thing. Yeah, that's funny you say that. The reason I started doing these streams is because I always used to watch streams when I work. And I thought, well, I want to contribute to this community. And I like animating, so... And that helps me work on my own stuff by practicing. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm going to basically use this curl control just to get some fake back and forth. So here, it's going to come in by like... It's going to come in. And then here is going to be like broken, I guess. I'm doing this, by the way, I'm ignoring the poses here. So here, I'm just trying to copy the opposite motion. So as it's coming down this way, coming up, this needs to be fixed. This keeps getting changed. I swear I'd fix this. This is not on this pose. So I want to do this in the I want to get the head visible. Move this across more. My spacing a bit off. I'm supposed to make another one here. Ah, no. Create. And this was about polish. Feels better, right? Yeah. Ooh, okay. Go back to this first again. This hand, sorry. So come in. That's not a good pose either. So I'm kind of polishing the hands and fingers together because the black and black isn't working nicely. I want to get it out there so you see the hand better. And that isn't nice either. Move forward in space. Move down in space. That's that pose. Just work on the arcs more. This is how I polish. I'm actually bringing this down this way. I want a bit of negative space here as well. Bring this down. I feel like that out here more. That feels a bit better, I guess. I feel like it makes more sense. Cool. Okay, let's go back to the fingers then. So yeah, let's go to the curl controller. Bring this down. I think that's actually a finger issue. So let's select this one. I'm gonna, because I've selected the right hand controllers, I'm gonna mirror the animation from this finger to this finger by clicking this mirror button. This is a Animate plugin button. I can copy and paste it, but this is quicker. So yeah, hopefully it works. There we go. So that's just a quicker button than doing copy and paste. And then that comes in there. And then the fingers, again, dragging this way, out, and then in. It's really extreme with that. Yeah, it's a bit over the top, but I think that's fine. Okay, let's do the other hand now. So again, it's going to come out, index curls out, and it's going to come. I'm going to make the fingers spread a little bit so you can see them. Let's just check this pose. This is not a nice pose either. Let's do the frames, do 6 frames, so it's a bit easier to read. I think maybe I can get this hand out, just so I can see the back a bit better. That one I can leave. Actually, no. I'm gonna kind of, this probably looks bad from perspective, but I think for this bit, for now on, I want to do viewport. I want this to look good from the camera angle. That's rotated wrong. Is there an issue here with Euler rotations? Let's do a Euler filter. Yeah, there was. That's why. The rotator was gimbal locked, so it was rotating around itself too many times. That's out there. The reason why I'm doing this frame by frame is FK. You have to kind of do. FK gives you 3 arcs, but IK you kind of have to go frame by frame. And that comes out there. Good. And this spacing is too small here. I can get that bit bigger. Better. There we go. Cool. Yeah, this one, just bring it out there, just out from the knee, so the pose is nicer. I'm definitely polishing now, by the way, if you hadn't realised. I've moved past spline. It may have also been, you may have noticed that I didn't really spend much time in the graph editor for this shot. This is kind of a case-by-case basis. For this shot, it's so like mechanical with the frame-by-frame posing that I had to just kind of ignore the graph editor. For many other shots, I would definitely be using the graph editor more. And actually at work, I work in a layered approach where I basically go one by one through the controllers, and I basically only work in the graph editor. But this kind of heavy body mechanics type shot, the pose is more important. Yeah, I think that the hand's working nicely. Let's go back to the fingers again. So let's set these curl fingers. Let's get rid of that one. I think this is fine, and then up here, it's gonna have it drag, delete this key, bring it in like that. Too much. Cool, yeah. So we've got a very slight overlap in the fingers there. So drag the fingers drag in on both sides. I think the last thing to check is whether the ground contact for the fingers aren't broken. On the camera at least. Let's go frame by frame. They are broken a bit. It's this frame here they're broken. Yeah, this is. I'm just going to do this from the viewport on purpose. That's pretty fine, that much. Oh, no. I mean, it's not great because of the way the geometry is breaking a little bit. But for like 2 frames, you can barely see it. So I might leave it. This hand needs to be fixed there as well. Let's select. This is the thumb is breaking here. That's pretty broken. I want to try and fix it using the viewport camera. Because like this is meant to be like, you know, it's not a game animation, of course, so it's pretty broken though. Wait, I've got to go to perspective for this quickly. Okay, left hand. Key that. Let's add the thumb into the selection set. Let's add this to the set. So all the fingers are in the set. So that's fine. That's fine too. This thumb is not fine. Oh, okay, yeah, I think that's better. Okay, let's just do that. I'm gonna basically copy the posing since it's the same pose, but because the hand's rotated, it's obviously up in the air. I'm just gonna rotate these back. These bottom knuckle controllers. Rotate this down. Yeah, cool. I might do the same thing again. Copy that pose. And then I'm just going to rotate this back again. Make sure you're in object mode for this, by the way. You want to go along each of the axis of the fingers. Yeah, that hand works better. I think because the rotation of the wrist is better in this hand. I mean, I could probably keep going with this polishing, but I mean, to be honest, for the type of shot I'm trying to go for, I mean, it's quite a heavy overshoot. Maybe it's too much overshoot, but again, this is that thing where you can continue forever and you never finish. So I might call this one done, just for the sake of time, really. Just quickly test something. If I put this on, I think it's... Let's go to perspective for a second. Where is it? Yeah, perspective. Just make a little bevel plane type thing. Back in space. Go to the shot cam. I want to just check this one pose if it looks weird or not, but using the lighting. Use the right camera. It's shot, right? I mean, it's a bit overexposed, but I can work on that later. I mean, it looks okay. Yeah. I'm not really a renderer. I'm not probably going to render this, but anyway, cool. Okay, let's save that. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this, call this one done, only because I'm running out of time. And while it definitely is not a polished animation, I think for the point of this Tuesday video to show the workflow of how I would go about making a pose to pose shot, at least from my method of working, I've done that. So that's kind of me done for this 2-part series. And yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with, I guess, the results in terms of what I achieved in 2 hours. And yeah, cool. Hopefully this was helpful for people watching. Like I said, this is one of many streams I'm doing, so make sure you do watch my other videos, other streams, and hopefully these are helpful for you guys. And yeah, please give this a comment, like down below, and also please share this with your friends, or link my tutorials to your friends as well. I'll be really grateful just to try and grow my community here. And I do have my Discord, which I mentioned yesterday. I have a Discord where which a link should be down below as well, where you can just join and you want to share your animations there, either just to brag and show off, or if you want some feedback, either one, then feel free to share it in the Discord below. But cool, I'm going to end that stream tonight. Thank you for watching to my loyal viewers, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cool, and good luck and happy animating.